my 5-headed Hydra. Okay, what else is going on this season? Legendary gems, set dungeon, siege breaker, or at 7. So we're at 10 right now, so we could do siege breaker Asmodan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to do those?
Sure.
What is the best way to get that wand?
Anything could happen.
Farming Death's Breath and upgrading rares.
Really?
Yep. Because the other option is to farm blood shards, but
See you soon.
at 75 blood shards a pop, it's just not very efficient.
What a steal.
It is not. But I can use these rares to upgrade, right?
Yes.
Which makes sense.
And so a lot of it just depends on, because it's 25 Death's Breath per upgrade.
That's a one-handed wand, right?
It is a one-handed wand.
The Serpent Sparker, is that the one? Or the Fragment of Destiny or Death Wish? Which one are we talking about? There are 3.
The Sparker.
Serpent Sparker. Yes, it is a one-handed wand.
I mean, all the things you want are one-handed wands.
You're a one-handed wand.
And you'll either get super lucky and get it like first or second try, or it's going to take you... That's a spear you just upgraded.
No, it wasn't. I thought it was a wand.
The Empyrean Messenger is a spear.
Well, I know that is, but I thought what I put in there was a... What is that?
No,
Oh, it was a
it doesn't
spear.
change weapon type.
Oh, well, fart. Don't laugh at me. Like it looked like a wand and it's a spear. Sorry.
It's true. Reading is difficult sometimes.
Why are you such a jerk?
Why don't you just like craft some wands?
I'm gonna craft your butt. Spear, mace, axe, wand. Ugh. I already have this wand.
Like I said, it's either going to be like immediate or you're not going to get it for... It's going to be like farming Death's Breath forever.
Like the end game here. The wand
Yeah.
finds your death humorous. Yeah, I'm good. Well, how much do I have in the... Oh, I have 65. Okay, so what are we doing?
Did you want to go kill who's its and what's its? Siegebreaker and Asmodan?
Siegebreaker is Act 3, right? Yeah, no, yep, Siegebreaker. Oh, there's a shrine right here.
I will enjoy this.
And you just murder everything. Well, and then the clones.
I do a lot of damage. Oh yeah, plus the clones. When you do a lot of damage, well, your hydras do a lot of damage. So you need to keep your hydras up front.
Nicely done.
And then remember to resummon them often, because every time you get hit, you lose heads, which decreases your defense
Right.
and your offense. Whoa!
I become more powerful.
I become more powerful. What did I get?
My knowledge increases.
Nope, this way. Oh, farts.
I am so good.
Help me.
Not helping you. Sorry, dude. Oh, farts. Well, that was fun. Wrong way. Gotta go up the stairs here. Oh, so I think I was talking about Cyberpunk that came out Wednesday night, right?
Technically Wednesday, evening, depending on
Yeah,
your time
Wednesday
zone.
evening. And so I have not played it because I have to finish Skyrim before I'm allowed to play it.
You have to finish it. I just wanted you to play a little bit of Skyrim.
I have to play a little bit
understand.
more of Skyrim to understand what first-person shooters are, because I haven't played a lot of first-person shooters. So, well, that was fun. We should just look at him and he died.
My clones looked at him.
Oh, well, that's helpful. Oh, I forgot we had clones.
I have 2. They last for 10 seconds.
Oh,
And then
right.
all of my damage goes away.
That's right. I forgot your simulacrum.
Who is the other one? Isuel?
No, we already did that one. It's Asmodan.
Asmodeus.
There he is. Anyway, so Diva has played has been playing Cyberpunk. What are your initial
Arcane power.
thoughts?
So I enjoy it greatly, but like this is my sort of game, like the kind of game where so the first like major story that really introduces like the first quest that really introduces like the major story in the game, like you should do like right away, and there's only like 5 quests. So you start the game, there's like a little bit of stuff that happens, and then it throws you into the world. So I did that, and then like they give you the main quest to go do stuff, and I did not do that. So for the first, so I have about 15 hours in the game, and I spent the first 14 hours doing random side quests. So like you can do the first quest, you should probably be, around, by the time you finish the first quest, you'll be around level like 5, like street cred 6 or 7. And that's probably being generous.
Still waiting.
And when I finished this story, I was level 14, street cred 20.
Oh, when you finished the first quest?
The first story quest. Because this is the sort of game that absolutely plays to my sensibilities of open up the map, there's 5 things to do right around me, I'm gonna do all of them.
Yeah.
And it's all of, like, none of them are very big or long or whatever, but it's these nice little vignettes that you can just run in, a flurry of action, and be rewarded. And that's absolutely my jam.
Yeah. So, but okay. So we talk about like game styles. Like, so Diablo that we're playing right now is ARPG, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that stands for action role playing action role playing game, ARPG.
Yep.
And so Cyberpunk is considered a first person shooter, right?
So it's sort of this, I don't know if they've defined it as a genre, but it's a genre of first person RPGs. Like I would absolutely tie it in with like Skyrim and Fallout, where it's first person perspective. There's gunplay, there's melee, and there's some sort of progression system, like active leveling progression system. You gain experience, you get items. Loot is very important.
Right.
And so it's difficult for me to say first person shooter because like there's a gigantic difference between that and say Doom.
Right.
which is like a Twitch shooter. Even though they're both technically first-person shooters, right?
Hmm. So you're saying within, no, I get that, because then like within that genre, so that overarching genre of first-person shooter, there are different specificities that kind of make each game different, right?
Yeah, and it's definitely sort of a conglomeration of RPG and first-person shooter.
Hmm.
And it's that sort of progression, and the progression system is very in-depth. So you have 5 primary stats. Each primary stat has 2 or 3 talent trees, and each talent tree has like between 20 and 30 talent points worth of talents.
Man, and I think like I don't know. Because like this to me is not complicated. It's very straightforward. You have your primary abilities that are going to generate your resource that costs you to use that ability and all of your abilities. And then you can change up what, like electrocute. Like I can make electrocute do these 5 different things, and that's super cool. And I get to make those choices, and I can change it as long as I'm not like in a rift.
Well, and this is the neat thing about Diablo versus like Cyberpunk, whereas in Diablo you have all of these choices, but at the end of the day you only get to use 6 skills at a time. Period.
Right.
And so that sort of relieves that paralysis of choice. Whereas in Cyberpunk, like in my cyber deck that I use for hacking, I have 6 programs just in that part of the game, plus the 3 different guns I can use, plus every day, I can stealth approach, I can frontal assault, I can, like there's significantly more options. And so and then even within the skill trees, are you going for things that are more subtle, that like, do I want a 3% increase in crit chance? Do I want 10% damage? Do I want 20% reload with a specific weapon? Do I want my cyber deck to recharge faster? Do I want my RAM to recharge faster? And so it's like there's a ton of options. Do I want 10% health? Do I want 10% stamina? And so it's like each skill point, each talent point can go into, 15 different things, all of which do something different and something mildly significant. Whereas in this, you only have 6 options, and every time you change something, it's significant.
Right. Yeah, but not only but you have these part. That's not what I wanted. Cancel. So I have these 6 different skills, but technically then I also have these passive abilities as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I can change up.
But even then, you only get 4.
Right.
As opposed to something like Cyberpunk, where almost every talent you take is a passive talent.
And then they also toss in affixes to armor and weapons that can add to a build as well. Like right now, you're wearing a Convention of Elements, which is that pretty swirling effect around your character. And every time it changes, it enhances that element's power. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Or I don't think mine. What is mine? Well, my affix on my weapon increases the damage of my arcane orb. And then I've added, they add these other layers into this like that, and like gems, and they add damage to specific skills and specific abilities. And then the gems, is that what they're? Yeah, the parts. The legendary gems, then that's another layer, and then it's another layer when you level it up, and for me,
sort of, because the I don't want to say it's a difference, but what you're talking about is mostly systems that are very connected, right?
Yeah.
Like the items that you're using, while all of them can be different, you want them to connect with whatever you're doing. So
right.
You want a weapon that enhances the power of whatever ability you're using. So it's not going to be, so the choice is actually limited. So like I'm doing this Bone Spear Simulacrum build. It does not make sense for me to put a Blood Nova ability increasing wrist piece on because that's not
Right.
useful, right? And so my choice is actually limited to
Right.
bracers that or that's go with bone spear.
Right.
And so what you're talking about is absolutely true. All of those things are true, but the scope with which they are applicable is much smaller.
Oh.
Does that mean you
No,
understand what I mean
no,
when I
no,
say
I
that?
no, I do because so like when you're looking at the choices and abilities that you have in Cyberpunk, they are far greater than just the you were just talking about. Like I have these 6 skills and these 4 passive skills and that's it. And I can, interchange them. I don't have to like when I look at my primary, I don't have to use a primary in that skill slot. I can use any of the skills in that slot I want to.
Right.
Right. It's just like
And if you make the choice to not use a primary skill, then any passive you would use that does something to a primary skill you also wouldn't use. So not only
right.
are you limiting your choice of the 6 active skills, you've now blocked off a handful of passive skills, which makes the
Right.
pool of choices much smaller.
Right.
And that's sort of not necessarily less true, but it's less easier to see when your number of options are exponentially larger.
Right. Which is what your options are when you're playing Cyberpunk.
Correct.
Right.
And those are the sort of robust systems that like I really enjoy, where none of the upgrades are necessarily huge, but there's a lot of them.
Hmm.
This sort of goes back to the Diablo 2 conundrum of what's better, fewer more significant options or more less significant options, and you ask 2 different people and you'll get 2 different answers.
Right. Well, and
You ask
that's
10
what
different people and you'll get 10 different answers.
right. But that's what I don't know. We've talked about this before about people being all crabby when Diablo 3 came out, wanting it to be more like Diablo 2. And is that what people are going to be like when Diablo 4 comes out? Are they going to be more crabby that it's not like Diablo 3?
I think it's going to be a combination of people being crabby that it's not like Diablo 3 and also being crabby that it's not like not enough like Diablo 2.
I just died.
And then there will be people like us who would just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, and I do. You are not appropriately garbed to read this tome. So there's not a set dungeon for this.
Oh.
Well, fork that.
Boy, that's a problem, huh?
Yep, they didn't make set dungeons for the new set pieces. I disagree.
Did you just like skip everything?
I teleported.
Hmm.
Just mucked up this library though.
I become more powerful.
Oh, thanks. I just leveled. Thank you.
Well, it's because not all of us can just teleport every 2 seconds.
Well, don't you have your blood thingy?
Once every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not letting that slot ever go. That's such a great ability.
That's a bummer. I didn't realize that the new sets didn't have set dungeons. I
So
guess
now-
it makes sense, but that means in order to do that, to complete that, we have to find a second set.
Farts. I have a piece of Talrashas and a piece of Veers.
I have a piece of Tragools and a piece of Rathmas.
Oh, farts.
Oh, and you have to do wizard ones. Those were awful.
I disagree. Anyway, so my overarching question in discussing genres and the differences was, what is your favorite genre of game to play? Do you have a favorite, or do you just enjoy the game that you're playing?
I have 2 favorites depending on my mood. I'm a huge fan of MMOs.
Right, because that's
especially if I have people to play with, because like playing I will always play a game with other people first. Like that's never even a question. Like I'll be playing Cyberpunk and one of my buddies will jump on Discord and be like, hey, we need someone for a group, and I will leave that to go play with them, because playing with other people is by far the most entertaining to me, the most enjoyable to me. Next would be open world adventure games, because having that, games like Cyberpunk, like The Witcher,
Like Breath of the
like Breath of
Wild.
the Wild, yeah.
Because you can do a lot more and you don't have to necessarily follow the storyline.
Yeah, because it's like games that have enough content where you can just sort of wander and find stuff to do. I absolutely love that.
I don't have enough arcane power.
Like Skyrim is a phenomenal
Need more
example of
arcane
that.
power. Time to test my skill. I don't have enough arcane power.
Oof. I would like to be able to use my simulacrum all the time, please. Thank you.
Oh no! I died. That happened. So now it's really just doing riffs for now.
Yeah, either regular rifts or greater rifts.
I am stronger still.
Better to wow.
Oh,
Yeah, things hit really hard, by the way. Also, the only thing that does damage for you is your hydras. Because even your arcane orb is not going to do what you want it to do. So I would actually switch arcane orb to something that does that gives you passive damage increase or a defensive ability, like diamond skin or something.
what am I doing? I found these things.
Getting rid of arcane orb.
Why would I get rid of something when my weapon increases that damage? And
Because your hydras are doing almost 5 times more damage than arcane orb.
so I should get rid of what?
Arcane orb.
For what?
Either something that increases your damage, increases your whatever your arcane energy, or gives you damage reduction.
Say that one more time.
You don't want to die, you want to do more damage. That's what you're replacing it with.
Well,
So either something that passively increases your damage or gives you defense.
what's going to passively increase my damage?
Magic weapon,
Oh,
familiar.
thank you.
Don't you have more? Like, I'm pretty sure there's more than that, but those are just the ones I can think offhand.
What's more?
Or you can replace it with a defensive ability like Diamond Skin or
I move Hydra over here.
the Frost Nova.
And put. What do I want to put there? Teleport.
Because right now your Hydras are doing plus 1,000% damage every time you drop it. As opposed to your Arcane Orb, which is doing 300% extra damage.
What does the familiar do? That's for 10 minutes. What?
I tied to a trap.
How'd you manage
Yikes.
that one?
I don't know, I just stood still.
am stronger still.
Oh, thanks. What about passives? Is there any passives I should be? 30% increased damage.
You would have to look at the passives.
Gain.
Blast cannon is always fun, but if you're already having problems surviving,
Yeah. Cooldown reduction. I don't really have anything on cooldown right now. So I can get rid of that.
yeah.
Don't have a lot of killing enemy grants a shield. Nope.
My power grows.
Protective shield. Do, do, do. Okay, I guess I should teleport to you. Are we in the middle of something?
No.
My knowledge increases.
Oh, farts. I have to refamiliarize myself with my key bindings. Oh, I'm gonna go back. There's some floating stars out there I need to pick up. We got some pants.
Speed pylon.
And some more
Doesn't
pants.
get any better.
She's always so confident. Didn't think I could get any better. Helmet. More death breath. Nothing over there.
Ooh.
What?
Stepped on one of those puddles and almost immediately died.
What
Like that.
killed? Oh, all right then. That's fun. Okay. Is that not the way?
I need to go back.
I'm gonna run to town and, you know, fix my armor because it's gonna break soon.
Crap is the way out on this friggin' floor.
Jono Sabe. That is not the way. Zero
You
might
tell
know.
him Zero.
Zero might know the way.
She's too busy barking at nothing.
Good at that.
Nope.
Help me!
Nope. What? Should we? Do we have to do it this high?
No.
I'm
Well, we're
gonna.
doing enough damage, we're just dying a lot.
Nicely done.
Like, we could bump it down to like Torment 8 or something.
Why? I'm confused.
What are you
Oh,
confused about?
because I changed. My Hydra thing.
Hydra. So be careful doing the Gargantuan Hydra because it reduces the number of heads you get by
I know. I just realized
2.
that. I just realized that. No, there was only one head on that, the mammoth.
Does it not give you 2 extras?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
There
that's a
was,
bummer.
yeah, there was one head. I was like, what did I? Oh,
Guardian has found you.
oh, you killed her.
Yeah, I got it.
My Hydras helped a little, didn't they?
Heal me.
Yes.
I said a little.
Yes.
Whatever.
Go back.
You judging me over there,
Always.
McJudgerson?
Did you get everything?
Yeah.
Your trial.
Nicely done.
I got some pants. Oh, good. I got the butcher's sickle. Oh, good. I got 2 pair of depth diggers and the blind faith and the butcher's carver. I'm sorry. I said sickle.
You got 5 legendaries out of that one?
No. Didn't you get any?
I got 1.
Yeah, I got
Thank you very much.
I got 5. So this is I'm sure we've talked about this before, but there's this phenomenon that I tend to exceedingly get legendaries at a quicker and faster scale than my husband.
By a lot.
All the time.
All the time.
And we don't know why. I'm not going to argue with it, so there's that. Okay, let's see if I can muck this up. Highest usable staff. Nope, I don't want a staff. I want a wand, right?
Yeah.
Farming to get the wand I need to kick some demon booty.
I've dug up some new things for you to take a look at.
That's nice. I'm glad he said something instead of Zoten cool, because he always says something, jerky. You're like, thanks a pant load. Okay, so it looks like I'm just slow racks. Is it slow racks madness? The one find your. So I'm just gonna get this. I've already had this. Farts. Ooh, what's that? That looks pretty. The black hand key, that does nothing. Ugh. He needs to just shut the H up. Oh, good, I got that, except... Yep, no, nothing fancy. Just that again. That's nice. Thanks, pant load. I'll just recycle those things. Ooh. But I'm curious. Oftentimes, I like to see how things look. And I'm just curious to see what this wand looks like. Oh, it's pretty cool. It actually, it looks like a human spine. That's exactly what it is. It's a spine. That's creepy. Fantastic. I love it. As opposed to my wand. This is what my current wand looks like. Kind of basic. Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Basic. Weird. That's weird. It looks like a torch. Nope. I like the spine. I'm weird. Am I weird?
Not as weird as I think you are.
Oh, that's fair. I do like this one. This one's fun. I do like this. Like, I didn't think I would, because initially, didn't I think this was, like, just stupid? The ability to
What?
change what things look like?
Yes, you did.
I did think it was stupid.
You did not understand the power of the dress up.
The aesthetics of being able to choose what you look like. Ooh, that's a
AKA
fun.
Playing dress
Playing
up.
dress up, yeah. That's a fun
Oh my
source.
God.
It's like a disco ball. What are you, oh my godding over there? What's going on?
I'm making rare or upgrading rares for a one-handed scythe, and I've got Tregul's Corroded Fang 3 times in a row.
Oh, fantastic. This is fun. The cube thingy. It's a weird source. I think I'm going to go with the skull for now because it kind of goes with my theme over here. What's going on over there, sweet dog?
The Amazon guy just drove by.
Uh-oh. She does not like the Amazon. She does not like the garbage. FedEx, UPS, none of those. It's a big no for her. She will
She
bark at...
doesn't bark at the mailman as much anymore.
No, huh?
Zero. What are you doing? Where's your bone? Where'd the bones go? They're just like hanging out. What?
Hi, sweet
come here.
dog. Hi, what
Do
are
you
you
want to come
doing?
here? Do you want to come here?
I don't know if you can... He's
Zero.
asking her to... No, she doesn't want to get on his lap. Because she's being
Do you want to come here?
Oh, there she goes. Slowly.
Come
Nope.
on. Nope. Okay. Come on. Come here. Zero.
Nope.
Oh, here comes Isabel.
It's time to chew on the bone because Isabel has
Come
shown
on,
up.
Isabel. Oh, hi. Oh, okay. Oh, a little stretching dog.
Super cute. They're getting baths today because it's been a while. And it's really nice out. And by nice, I mean it's warm. Like, what is it out? It
I
is...
mean, it was like almost 60 degrees
It's
yesterday.
52. It is 52 in the middle of December. But global warming is totally a red herring. Totally a red herring. And I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't talk about politics, even just a little bit. Because I usually talk about it all the time in stream, because why shouldn't you? You should be civically engaged. It is your duty as a citizen. Do you
My
disagree?
favorite part of the stream.
Is it when you rewatch it? Talking politics. So the question Diva and I were discussing at brunch today was a fellow, well, I guess a former fellow business owner, because we did own a business, was ranting on Facebook at how state and local governments are hindering their ability as a small business owner to make a living. And we discussed this. What are your thoughts? Do you think that's true? Diva, what do you think?
I do think it's true, but I don't think that's the overarching problem. I think it's a symptom of a problem. Because state and local governments really want to preserve the life of the people, and the easiest way to do that right now, because people are dumb, is to impose mandates that restrict what places that gather people can do.
Right.
Which makes sense, because that's one of the easiest ways to protect people is to tell them not to do dumb crap. And so that's all they can do. The problem is that what's missing is the federal side, which would be some sort of aid to help businesses who rely on that constant influx of people who now can't. I'm so squishy. To get by, and you had brought up the PPP, and that was partly what that was for, but it was such a small effort for that didn't last very long, and so it's like it should still be going, like they should still be funneling money into that program.
But I think the biggest problem with that program was that they took away the accountability for that committee, for the giving of that money. They took away the accountability for it, and they were just like, just have all this money, and no one's going to tell you who can have it or why they can have it or how much they can have, or, I mean, I'm sure I'm exaggerating, but they took away the accountability factor. And then so you had businesses that had absolutely no business. There's a wordplay there.
Nicely
No reason, no reason to take that money. And they took it anyway because it's free money. Why not? Why wouldn't you? Right? And so then
A good
businesses,
example of this is the company that we currently work for.
Right.
Has been doing record sales, like by a lot, like by 50%. Sales are up. At no point has this pandemic hurt them at all.
no,
And
not
they
at all.
applied for one of those
must wait
loans.
long.
Yep.
And it's like, this is not what they're for. They're for
No.
the restaurant who can't open their doors because if they do, people will die.
Yep.
Using that money to pay its employees so that there's not this giant vacuum of money.
Yeah.
And it's sort of unfortunate that that's... And the crap part is that there's no easy fix for it because it requires a lot more thoughtful crafting of laws and policy that we don't really have time for. And the other side of it is relying on people to not be jerks, which won't happen. So it's
No,
like... You're sort of stuck in this catch-22 of
Right.
there's nothing you can really do. And so the real solution really is to just throw money at it until the problem goes away. And it's not ideal, but the alternative is to just let businesses do whatever and then people die, which in the long
farts.
run isn't good either. But, you know, if you're cool with people dying, then sure.
Which apparently, the majority of, I mean, what was that? The comparison
Don't
to,
say majority, because the
No.
problem is that you're
Right.
grouping a lot of people
Fine.
into a very small subset of people.
that's fair. So
The
there,
problem is that it doesn't take very many people for it to be awful.
right. So a subset of people, now you just mucked up my train of thought.
Just could see me now.
I died to a spider.
Died to a spider?
The same spiders that you were continually running away from.
Hey, man. The problem, I absolutely lost my train of thought.
And it's an issue that can't be solved by, two people whining about it on the internet.
Well, no, it can't.
And so it requires a lot more community cooperation than I think anyone that this pandemic has really proven that nobody's really willing to do.
No. Oh, well, I think I was going to talk about how the death toll from COVID-19 on Wednesday was higher than that of 9/11, and we were all collectively so outraged by 9/11 and how many lives we lost just in a day, and then 3,000 people died on Wednesday from COVID-19, and we're like, oh, well, whatever. I mean, this pandemic isn't real. You still have people saying that, and I think that is just indicative of what's going on in our country right now.
Well, and what's interesting is that it's not just a countrywide problem. Like, this is a worldwide problem.
It is.
We're just unlucky in that we're one of a handful of nations whose government has decided that they would preserve themselves over the populace.
Yep. They're going to do what's best for them and not what's best for the country and the people, and everyone else be damned.
Must die.
Which sucks.
It does.
It's like, we could have absolutely had a great response, and it would have been, like, there's no getting around it. Like, this is going to suck for a while in
Yeah.
terms of economic policy, because we're going to have to do things that are not good for the budget now, and at some point we're going to have to pay for it, and that's just the reality of the situation. But, like, we as Americans have done this
I wish I
before.
could do that.
Most people
Yeah.
don't remember because they're not old enough, and for whatever reason the people that do remember have sort of forgotten what it was like.
Right.
That the country, put itself into an incredible amount of debt to get out of the Great Depression. And then in response to that, we increased taxes on corporations to an absurd degree, with the purpose of paying back that money, because it got
Farts.
people. It did two things. It got people back to work. so it injected money into the economy, which helped small businesses become something. And it allowed our country to really create a lot of infrastructure that a lot of other developed nations don't have. Like I think India
Right.
is a great example of how they've never quite had a Great Depression level of come together, and so like their infrastructure is sort of slapdash, and it works for them. But America was in an interesting point where they were at, it was like 25 or 30% unemployment, and the government said, well, we're going to throw a bunch of money at it, and we're going to take this opportunity to
Parts.
overhaul all of our infrastructure, and that's what we're going to do. And we did, and it was great, and it was one of the best things I think America has ever done in terms of community policy and in terms of fiscal policy, because then they created a bunch of jobs, created a bunch of business, and then in turn, those businesses paid a lot more in taxes.
Yep.
And
I've
that's what you have to do. Like that's
Yeah.
just the
well, and I've said before.
because the capitalistic ideal that the rich are going to pay for things because they can has already proven to fall completely flat, because they will pay as little as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah.
As what happened with like, and this isn't even like I'm not even politics anymore. I'm talking fiscal
Oops.
fiscal policy and the ramifications of those policies. Like the ramifications of, and this is not opinion, the fiscal ramifications of Reagan's tax cuts were companies took that money and moved assets overseas to increase or decrease their production cost and increase their profits.
Yep.
Which ironically you can actually see, this is something that happened recently when Trump passed his tax breaks. The idea that they sold us was that these companies would then turn around and increase the number of jobs they had and increase the amount of money they were paying those people. And what they actually did was spend all of that profit on share buyback, so that they didn't have to spend as much of their profit on shareholders.
Yep.
And that's, I mean, in terms of making money, phenomenal move. Like that's how you do it.
Yep.
In terms of community policy, terrible idea. It doesn't do anything to enhance the wallet of the average person, and it doesn't advance society as a whole. It just makes a handful of people a lot more money.
Yep.
And the rest of us stay where we are. Our lives didn't get worse. Like don't this isn't necessarily a negative policy. But nothing got better.
No.
And that was sort of the hope. That didn't happen. And so it's like you have to, at some point you have to decide if you care more about the average person's income or the rich person's income. And I know that the people will say, well, what if I become rich? And it's like, let me tell you, once you get to that point, like there's a point where taxes literally no longer matter to you. And people don't think of it that way. People think of it as, it's my money. Why are they taking my money? And it's like, realistically, in terms of comfort of living and quality of life, there's a point where it doesn't matter. The government can take half of your income and it literally doesn't change your quality of life. And that point is usually between like $1 and $10 million a year, where it's like literally government can take half of it. Your quality of life doesn't change at all. Literally zero. And then like the next jump is like once you hit like the $100 million mark, and then it's just like you're literally in your own little world. But it's people who just say, it changes from, I want to help people to it's my money.
Right.
They're not going to do anything with it. They're not helping anyone. Nothing is improving, but it's their money, and they're not technically incorrect, but it's it just depends on where you think the focus should be. If you think the focus should be society as a whole, or if you think the focus should be the individual, because the individual absolutely favors a small group of people who have a lot of money, and sort of throws everyone else under the bus until you get to, like, you know, French Revolution levels of poverty. Or you take more of a community-minded focus, and people make a lot more money on average, but nobody's super rich. And it's like, I know that everyone wants to be super rich.
I just want to be able, you know, to.
But, like, the reality is that nobody's going to be super rich.
Yeah.
My power
And I think that's okay. I don't.
I mean, just in general, like, the chances of your average Joe being super rich is zero, literally zero. Because you always hear stories of, like, well, this person started such and such in their garage, and it's like, right, but if you look at like, Bill Gates is a great story, because a lot of people say, well, you know, you can drop out from Harvard and become a multi-billionaire. It's like, true, but, like, his dad gave him, like, $1 million loan or a $500,000 loan.
Right.
Like, he did not come from nothing. He wasn't scrapping together parts out of the dumpster.
Well, obviously he dropped out of Harvard. Like,
well, you can get into Harvard. Like,
well,
getting into
yeah,
Ivy League school
paying
is fine,
for it, yeah.
But the question was, did he get into Harvard? So really, the question is, did he get into Harvard because he was smart, or did he get into Harvard through his connections? And I actually think he got into Harvard because of his connections. Legacy nonsense, whatever. And that's just sort of how it goes. So we as a society at large have to decide which is more important.
I choose option B. Everyone.
And it's funny because it's like and when you talk about socialism, and it's, you can make this argument for literally any
Heal me. I wish I could do that.
Parts.
any economic policy, whether it be socialism, capitalism, communism, whatever. There are examples of doing it well, and there are examples of doing it not well, and I think the reality really lies somewhere in the middle of having some socialist policies, having some communistic policies, having some capitalistic policies. And realizing that you can do that.
Right.
Heal me. Need more time.
Because there are some things that should never be handled under capitalism. Healthcare should. God, I've died like 6 times in this little dungeon.
Oh, apparently I resurrected you. But you resurrected on your own. Anyway. Yeah.
For the reasons that it doesn't work is that healthcare does not work under the free market model. Like this is not and I always try to, you have to think about this logically. This is not a partisan issue. This is literally, I'm not talking politics. I am talking health of people. You cannot, healthcare does not function under a capitalistic model simply because the idea of the free market disappears once you no longer have a choice. And if you are not conscious, you don't have a choice. And so it's like you just don't. So, I mean, really your choice is, like, you can live in a little bubble and you have everything planned out for if something goes wrong, and that's your life. And it's like, you can't, that's not going to happen. And so you can't plan for everything, and so it's like you can't choose what hospital you go to if you've gotten into a car crash and are unconscious. So, like, free market model already out the window.
Right, yeah.
And so it's like there has to be some sort of regulatory something, some sort of either socialistic or communistic idea behind healthcare. Either the government pays for it so that everyone has access to it,
I am stronger still.
or all of the people pay into it, so that so that everyone is covered. Whether that's literally the government paying for your healthcare or having a type of insurance, aka single payer. Like it doesn't matter how you do it. That's how you need to do it. Because if you leave it up to capitalism, people will exploit it, and you'll end up in the situation where we are now, where
Right.
you know you have to pay a quarter to a third of your income to have access to health care that still may or may not bankrupt you if something goes wrong, something
Right.
unforeseen goes wrong.
Right.
The best example, I think, because a lot of people say, well, then maybe you didn't plan correctly. It's like, well, what happens if you get hit by someone, not your fault? You get someone blindsides you in your car. They don't have insurance. You have insurance. But car insurance only goes so far, and your health insurance only goes so far. And then
Right.
what happens if you can't work anymore? Like, you have a physical job, you can't do it anymore because you lost a leg, or both your legs. Not something you could have prepared for. Like, how is the system set up in such a way that you are not just instantly boned?
Right.
Because
And
in
it's-
our society, it would be very difficult if you, especially if you didn't have some sort of like large amount of savings to get you through a period of possibly retraining to be able to do something else that doesn't require legs. Oof.
I mean, but there isn't. Like right now, the biggest.
And so, not focusing on what's going on, but what's focusing on what should happen is this is why you can't have this sort of free
Right.
market idea, because there is no free market. Because like even in that situation, someone may have been able to, and that's like best case scenario is that someone has enough money to be able to survive while they retrain to get a different job. The reality is the person probably wouldn't have very much extra money because they've been having to pay so much in health insurance, and now that they can't work, they haven't been making money. So it's like, at some point you just can't anymore. And literally that could all be alleviated by increasing your average person's taxes a little bit
Yeah.
to pay for a single payer health insurance. Which, by the way, is exactly how health insurance works. You're just changing where the money is coming from.
Yeah.
It's changing from, and you're not even doing that. You're just changing it from, it's instead of coming straight out of your paycheck, it's coming straight out of your paycheck. So it's like,
Right.
and it is a type of insurance. It functions literally exactly the same. Except you put everyone under that blanket, which decreases the amount of cost you have. It also allows you to do better bargaining.
Oh, farts.
Which decreases cost for everyone. It's like I don't even know what killed.
What did kill you? You were slain by a
It
dune
said
stinger.
a bug, but everything was dead. There was literally nothing here.
They were hitting pretty hard.
Nothing was alive. I was literally standing there, nothing alive, dead. Didn't see any bugs coming my way, nothing. But yeah, that's.
There's a pylon over here.
I almost made it. Why didn't you grab the pylon?
So I was trying not to die.
So you sent me in to die? I see how it is.
Well, because don't you have the thing on your? Aren't you wearing the
Yeah, but when
bracelet?
we can't survive, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Oh, okay. Mhm.
I think we should probably be dumping this down a little bit. Anyway,
Anyway,
and that's why healthcare needs to not be capitalistic. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
did we get a shielding or?
The Rift
Yeah.
Guardian has
Oh, that
arrived.
was just in time. Yay!
Oh, I didn't even get to do anything. Oh, we had the guys.
Clones.
Yep.
Our clones did everything. They're still doing everything. Love the clones. And so, in short, that
Returning to town.
the federal government should have done more overall to help small businesses.
Yeah, because big businesses don't need it. They have more money than they know what to do with. But like small businesses are going to continue to struggle and close, and it's going to be a huge problem because nobody helped them enough.
Yeah. Did you pick up all the stuff you wanted to pick up?
Your trial
I did.
is complete.
My power grows.
So yeah, thanks for coming to our TED Talk, or Diva's TED Talk. So yeah, that is our show today, folks. We'll keep rifting it out. We may revisit some Diablo next week. We may not. I don't know. Unless someone, wants to suggest a game that we can play together that's not Cyberpunk. Sorry, because I think like everyone and his brother is probably streaming Cyberpunk right now.
Yes.
So, ooh, what did I get? I got a piece of Talrashas.
Nice.
One
And
piece.
a piece of blackthorns.
Yay! Just what everybody needed. Some blackthorns. So I think of blackthorns. Didn't get any wands that I can try to convert. I might do that quickly. Heal. Recycle. So unless anyone wants to suggest games, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, we still have a Twitch channel, even though we're streaming to Facebook to kind of mix it up a little. We have a YouTube channel. Everything is the Taculars. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you can subscribe. Nothing fancy happens, but you can join in some YouTube Rewind on Tuesdays and Thursdays when we post Saturday's videos. You can also view all of our tournaments from our business. Those are still up on our YouTube channel from our Super Smash Brothers Ultimate tournaments. We should play Smash. Can we stream Smash together?
We could.
Maybe we'll do that next week. I don't know. Tune in to find out. Because, I like me some Smash. We haven't played Smash I don't think we've played Smash since we moved.
That is true.
Oh, that's sad. I need to
I don't know
K-rule
if
it
you can
up.
play for 2 hours though.
Might be a segment thing. Anyway. But yeah. Awesome. Thanks for the like. Whoever just liked us, that was awesome. Thanks for all the folks who have tuned in today.
It tells you.
I know I'm Andrea, maybe. Yes. I'm not so good with pronouncing things. Thank you for liking, for tuning in, for checking us out, even if we're not your jam. We're not going to be everybody's jam. Totally reasonable, totally regular. I thought my dog was sniffing my leg, so that was fun. Anyway, my 4 pieces of advice: wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands, stay home. These are 4 simple, super easy things you too can do to help stop the spread of COVID and stop murdering your neighbors. Like, please, stop it.
I don't know. Screw those guys.
Please stop murdering your neighbors. Like, I can't go to my parents because they are both high risk, and someone I work with had the COVID. So I can't go see my parents. So thanks for, and these are just simple things, folks, that you can do to help save lives. What is the whole purpose of wearing the mask is to protect other people from your germs, right?
Well, and this is like why Japan never had to shut down, because they normalized wearing a mask when you're sick. So
Yeah.
when they mandated it, people were just like, "Oh, that makes sense. Okay."
Yeah, sure, why not? And here it's like,
they never had to shut down.
yeah, here it's like, but my freedoms, it's my body, it's my choice. Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Wear a mask over your nose and your mouth. Because it turns out those things are connected to your lungs. your respiratory system. And COVID-19 is a respiratory disease. You have to work tomorrow to set up for more COVID patients? Oh, hospitals are full. Yeah, absolutely, Kimball. Ugh. Protect yourself. Be smart. I'm sure you are. Please don't get COVID. Hospitals are full, folks. You all think it's a joke. I'm not saying you all. There's a population out there that thinks this is a joke, that thinks it's a hoax, that thinks it doesn't exist. All of these things because the dumpster fire in the White House has politicized this public health emergency. What a terrible human being he is. Terrible. Awful. The worst president in our nation's history. Yay! Anyway, I'll jump off my soapbox and just reiterate, wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask, stay home, and be safe. If you do have to go out, be safe. And, if you still feel like tuning in next week, we might be playing some Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That should be super fun. And maybe we'll play some Diablo. Who knows? Don't know until you tune in, because I won't know until like 5 minutes before we decide. Probably not, because we have to set up. We have to set up to play Smash, so that would be a little different. Anyway, have a great week, everyone. Stay safe.